So we guys go sit down and take a CompTIA test. Yes, they do make these tests complicated. And yes, these tests can be expensive. Is there any advice you can give someone who has obtained a cybersecurity internship? So I'm assuming you actually have the internship, right? In case you guys don't know what an internship is, just you're working at a company, but they're probably not paying you. But they might be paying you in experience. So let's just assume that you're there fetching people donuts and coffee and all that stuff, which is probably what you're doing. Whenever they do decide to toss you a project or some type of assignment to work on, or whatever system or ticketing, whatever the heck it is they got you doing, because I really don't know. You need to be writing down a bunch of notes of everything that you're doing, every piece of software that you're touching, every system that you're touching or manipulating that they allow you to get access to, so that you can add that to your resume. So the most important thing here with internships is the experience. Either you're not getting paid or they're paying you probably less than minimum wage, right? But more than likely, you're probably not getting paid. So you need to be documenting experience to add to your resume. That's the best advice I can give you, just based off of what you told me, because I have no idea what the heck they have you doing. Hopefully that answers the question. So Draven says, man, I wish I could even get into the field, but where I live, the only IT jobs available are all military and require at least a secret security clearance. Unfortunately, some scrapes from my past disqualify me from such a clearance. Any felony is an automatic disqualification for any clearance, period. He says, my best bet is going to be getting on with the local computer repair shop, just fixing PCs. He says it's kind of a waste of a Network Plus and Security Plus, but unfortunately, I didn't think of the local markets before running around taking exams. All right, so that's Draven. Draven lives probably around a military base, got his A+, his Network Plus, Security Plus cert, and now he's just discovering that if he wants to work on post, he might have to have a clearance, and I'm assuming due to his past, he has felony convictions, which is probably preventing him from getting a clearance, which is preventing him from getting a decent job. So now he says he's going to be relegated to working at the local computer repair shops. So here's the thing. I wouldn't discount the local computer repair shops. I know people think of them as just some old, I don't know what people think of them, but here's the thing. If all you can get is a local computer repair shop gig where you're fixing PCs and dealing with things of that nature, and you really want to work in tech, then go ahead and take the job. It might not be the most glamorous, most sexy job, but like I've been telling you guys before, even those types of positions, you can learn a lot. You can make a lot of connections with your customers and clients, especially if you're really out there fixing people's stuff and hooking it up. And you can take that knowledge and create your own business out of it, to where you're like the geek squad or something like that. Like I just told you about one of my former students who was helping his brother-in-law out. All he did was go down there trying to solve an issue, and to discover that somebody just turned the Windows Defender on and did nothing else. And that turned into a whole side business for him. So I wouldn't necessarily view it as, okay, I can't get a clearance, I can't go work on post because of my felony convictions or whatever. Now I have to resort to just doing the some basic rudimentary IT jobs. If you're a creative person with an entrepreneurial spirit, there are a myriad of things that you can do in IT and take those skill sets and turn them into a possible business. So you're working at the computer repair shop. Who's to say you can't start your own computer repair shop? Who's to say that you can't go out to local small businesses and position yourself to be the IT guy for their company? Truth be told, there's a ton of small businesses out there that have no type of IT infrastructure whatsoever. They don't know anything about anything because they're out there baking cookies, cutting hair, grooming dogs, whatever the heck it is they got going on. Some of these people might be open to the idea of you being the IT person who comes in there and manages the digital aspect of their business to prevent people from hacking into their crap. Maybe you can go in there and set up some spreadsheets for them, do some backups for them, do all this other stuff that they don't have to worry about. You can put them on some type of contract where you come out there maybe once a month, make sure everything is tip top, running fine, do their backups for them, give them the thumbs up and send them a bill. If you find yourself in one of these positions where you got a criminal record and you feel like you're being locked out of certain jobs like government jobs because they require a clearance, you got to start, putting your creative juices to work here and thinking, well, how can you still take this skill set and make it work for you, make money? Like I've told you guys, the classic example I always get, maybe you can start an iFixit store, fixing people's broken tablets and phones. They make a lot of money. I've been to an iFixit store quite a few times because because I've dropped my phone quite a few times in the past. And I had to go in there and pay these people whatever they charge. They fixed it up within an hour and bam, I had my phone back. Could I have done that on my own because I'm an IT guy? Yeah. But guess what? I'm a quote unquote lazy IT dude. I would rather pay somebody else to do it, even though I know how to do it. It's like cutting grass. I know how to cut grass. I've been cutting grass since I was like 8 years old. But at this point in my life, I would rather hire somebody else to go cut my grass because I don't want to be out there cutting grass. And it's the same thing when it comes to computer issues. If I'm dropping and breaking things, yeah, I got the knowledge where I can go look it up and figure out how to fix it. But why do all that when I can just take it to somebody else? Because that's all they do. And they can probably do it faster and better than me. So you got to think along those lines right there. So hopefully that answers my man Draven's questions. Life is not over for you. You just might have to be a little bit more creative in your environment, man, as to where you're currently located. All right, Jake says, don't make the reasonable assumption that your college will prepare you for any CompTIA cert. He says, I failed mine today. He says, don't have the money to get a new one. So I think I will just move on. Besides, you can't do anything with it anyways. It's just a way for them to make money. They make it as complicated as possible. So even if you understand the material, you can still fail. That way they keep the money coming in. So Jake is out here saying, you go take these college classes, they're not going to really prepare you for CompTIA certification. Well, that depends on the courses in college that you're taking. What I mean, so if you go to college, you're like, hey, I want to major in information technology or information assurance. I have a master's degree in information assurance, which is directly related to cybersecurity. That course that I took for my master's degree was not going to prepare me to successfully pass a CompTIA cert. It gave me a bunch of information on IT stuff, IT systems. I was doing classes on digital forensics. I was doing another class where I had to learn about modulus equations. I was doing all this stuff that none of that stuff was going to help me pass a CompTIA certification. It was just designed to help me get a damn master's degree, which I ended up getting. Then I had to go back to school and get my MBA, but none of it helped me pass any of my certifications. But there are courses out there that you can take that are geared towards helping people pass certifications. So as a matter of fact, there's a community college down here where I live at where my son is actually thinking about going because my son wants to major in IT. He's thinking about going there for the first 2 years, which will save tons of money. Listen, do not knock community college. I think community college, especially if they got a decent IT program, is probably the best thing for going out there in these streets. You're going to save a ton of money. You're going to get exposed to a lot of pertinent, relevant information and or experience, depending upon, if they're going to let you go in there and actually do some things, and you can really get that resume together. And now you got a 2-year degree. And if you want to transfer to a university to finish out your degree, you get money out in these streets. But anyways, community college in my area, they got an IT program down there that I was looking up because like I said, my son, he's thinking about going there. They're in there teaching them Cisco networking. What else they in there teaching them? They're in there teaching them cloud AWS type of stuff, or Microsoft Azure stuff. There was something else, something related to cybersecurity. I think they're actually trying to prepare them to possibly get their penetration testing certification. Either that or CEH, one of those two. And then on top of that, if he were to go there, do all that, he will qualify for his associates in science, his 2-year college degree. So there are courses that are structured to where they are geared towards teaching you information that you need to learn to go out there and get a cert. As a matter of fact, these types of courses, oftentimes they'll advertise that there will be a voucher to go take the test, or passing the certification is a prerequisite to passing the class, or at least getting your degree at the end of the day. So you got to actually talk to the guidance counselors or the recruiters at these schools to find out the nitty-gritty details as to whether or not this IT course will actually help you pass a certification. Because you got general education IT courses just going to teach you about, this is information technology, these are information systems, these are business information systems, this is the world of IT. That you might branch off and take a calculus class over here, or some other class over here, do some other class over here, but they're not specialized classes that are designed to get you certified. I'm not saying that they're not important, because depending upon what you do in tech, they might, getting that degree might actually help you out. But if you want a specialized college class that say, hey, we're going to help you get these certifications, you need to talk to the counselors at that school to see if these courses are aligned with you getting certified. Now, my man's also says he doesn't have money to go get a new one because he says he failed his certification exam. He says, besides, you can't do anything with it anyways. It's just a way for them to make money. He says they make it as complicated as possible. So even if you understand the material, you can still fail. That way they keep the money coming in. So we guys go sit down and take a CompTIA test. Yes, they do make these tests complicated. And yes, these tests can be expensive. Why they do that? Well, I don't know. I guess they want to see if you've actually been putting your all into learning this information. And if you're willing to drop $200 on a voucher to go take a test, I'm assuming the company is probably like, hey, we're under the assumption that you actually invested and studied, because you're about to waste $200 if you did. Obviously, if you're out there producing a industry test, I don't think test makers are trying to make the test so easy that everybody and their mama can pass it. I don't think they want to make it so hard that everybody and their mama can't pass it, but it can't be that damn easy and it can't be that damn hard. Meaning they got to design these tests in a way that you can demonstrate that you've actually studied and learned the information. So what do I mean? You go take a CompTIA test. A lot of the questions on there are like scenario based. They're not just straight up, what is the port for DNS? What is the port for, I'm trying to think of a port number. I can't, what is the port for FTP? They might not just come out straight out and ask you something like that. They might put it in a scenario form where they'll be like, you're the system administrator and you've been charged with setting up the email accounts for everybody in this department. What protocol would you use to set up the email? Would you have to have activated or open to allow for emails to exchange or something like that? Now, you would have to actually know what the actual port number, I'm trying to think, what is it? I just forgot what it is off the top of my head. But anyways, you would have to actually know what the port number is. But in order for you to know that, that requires you to actually have to go out there and study and learn this information. It's a little hard for me to kind of explain it, but the whole goal is, my understanding is the way they put these tests together, it can't be just so straightforward where they're asking you like, what's 1 + 1? Oh, it equals 2. They're putting the questions together in such a way to gauge if you're able to actually reach into your brain to comprehend all that damn information that you would supposedly have learned, so that when you see the question, you can kind of start applying the knowledge in a so-called practical way to properly answer the question. I hope that makes sense, because I can't think of another way to explain it.